What a beautiful evening. We'd like to say thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. And here's Marina Davis. You were singing live for us tonight. And then we carry on our program. Marina Davis.
Good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This one's called The Blood Will Never Lose Its Power. Amen.
Amen.
Ooh. One of my favorite songs. I love the song. The blood that Jesus shed for me way back on Calvary, the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power, for it reaches to the highest mountain, and it flows to the lowest valley. Oh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. It soothes my doubts and calms my fears, and it dries my tears. Oh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. it flows to the lowest valley. Yes. Oh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day. It will never lose its power, for it reaches to the highest mountain, and it flows to the lowest valley. Oh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day. It will never lose. It will never lose. It will never lose its power.
May the power of Christ manifest inside of us. We thank you, Lord, for your power. We thank you for your might. Help us to take another step forward in faith. We love you. We trust you leading us. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
I would like to
Awesome.
welcome all our viewers here in the United States and around the world. And thank you for joining us tonight. Wherever you are tonight, we'd like to say thank you. Thank you for your love and your kindness for tuning in tonight. And this program is brought to you by IRAP Samoa, Rupio Market, Eastern's Protection, Performance Auto, and all of the above, which is all of us, the viewers. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit more about what we left on last week, but tonight is a little bit different. There was something else that we found about Marina Davis that we haven't known and we haven't talked about it. But it's great because I'll tell you what, the more we dig into it, the more we know of who she is. Marina Davis, successful career. There are ups and downs in every single obstacle of your career. How did you
Yes.
overcome all these obstacles and how did you do it with God alongside with you? Can you take us back
Yes.
from the beginning, please?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I was very, very young, my mother and my grandmother really instilled in me a sense of courage, you know, and I find that that's actually the number one ingredient that's missing in all of us, is that we don't actually exercise courage. We let fear take over our lives. We let the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of people laughing at us take over our courage. And so we don't end up pursuing our dreams and our visions that God puts in our hearts. One of the things that I had very early on as well was that I had a very perfectionist nature. And the perfectionist nature also releases a sense of paralysis in the body, because you're like, you can't release anything until it's perfect. That's wrong, you know? And and so it took me a long time to understand myself. And I'm going to be honest with you, you know, when we were, you know, when you're saying about a successful career, I'd love to point out that I've released about 30 to 40, maybe 50 songs in my career. Only about 10 of them have been successes. Do you know what I mean? So what, you know, one great song, two great songs. I'm so glad, like there's a repertoire of about 10 of my songs that people can, you know, remember all the words but I've released 40 to 50 songs. So really, if you look at the bigger picture, I'm a failure. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
It does make
I'm
sense.
a failure. But the nature of God and the nature of humanity is that we do latch on to the songs that we love. And so in people's minds, I'm this great success. But in my own mind, I struggled with my success because of the fact that I was relying on and being confident in my own ability and not actually confident in what God was doing in my life. So then I had this talent, but I had no purpose. I had this talent, but I had no calling. So that's why I had to transfer the dreamer that wanted to be this amazing singer, this amazing songwriter. I didn't have the courage to be her, because I didn't know I had no identity. But when I looked into the Word, when I started to seek God's face, when I started to really let God take control of my emotions and of my actions, what started to happen was that I began to see my purpose and my calling, and then I adapted my talent to my purpose and my calling. And that's why I'm not confident in myself. I'm confident in the Lord that has put something in me to share with others. And so when we talk about success, I'm actually a failure. But because of God, he can turn everything around for the good of those that love him. And so I've been very blessed to come to understand that my talent will never be enough. You can be the most talented. The world will still not accept you. Your own Samoan people won't support you.
Right.
You know, they would rather go download your music for free instead of buying it on iTunes, right? So, and thank God that now we even get paid from the downloads. Thank God for that.
Yes.
But this is the thing, you know, you cannot find success in your talent, but you will find success in your purpose and in your calling. And if you use your talents to uplift God, he will give you a purpose and a calling.
Absolutely. There's a quote that will go right along with what you just mentioned, right? Every coaches that they coach their players, they always say this, look, you got to keep practice until you get it right. But no, that was not the method. You practice so that way you don't get it wrong. And that's how I define your career. Because I'll tell you why.
Right.
I was listening to the radio, the 531, right, from Australia. The PI, right? It was a very successful, interview. Because, what you were shared on the radio about your career and the time that you started your career, and all three of you guys started in New Zealand, you encouraged a lot of people in your lifetime. And you even practice how to become other singers that was before you. That is so powerful. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Because if we think that we know it all, we don't.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, no.
But we always got to have somebody on the side to go right along with us.
I
for
agree.
somebody that is having a career right now about singing,
Yes.
This little girl messaged me. Her name is Caroline Cowley. Do you know who she is?
Yes. Hi, Caroline.
That's your student. That's
my student. Yes. She's wonderful.
Yes. I told her I'm going to acknowledge it tonight on your live.
That's
something
awesome.
happened to my message, but I would like to acknowledge her. She's a young girl, and she's your student on, online, and you taught her a lot about singing and all the stuff like that, according to her career. She's very nice. But
that's beautiful.
It's when the time that you resurrected someone else's career, for example. Like if I start my career and all of a sudden it take the deep down and then stuck in the mud. What can you do and what can you say for these young people or older singers just to come back up and build again your career?
Right. So, like I said, the number one ingredient that's missing in humanity right now is courage. The courage to try, the courage to go at it, the courage to make a mistake, the courage to fail, the courage to do it until you get it right? So do it so that you know what you're doing wrong. Right? So when we don't even try, that's when things get put on the shelf and they turn to dust and they die. And the great thing about God is that, I look at my relationship with God like a garden. If I take the time to water it and I cultivate it, it's the only relationship that I actually pursue every single day. I want to hear from you, God. I don't want to hear from all my other friends, sort of thing. I love my friends, but those friendships are human and they're fallible. I can let them down, they can let me down. This one relationship doesn't let me down, and so I want that revelation, and revelation only comes from relationship. We cannot expect our enemy to tell us what their plans are. Right? Our enemy doesn't want us to know, but our friends will tell us what their plans are. Our friends will tell us what their purpose is. So that's why I cultivate this friendship with God, because I want him to tell me his plan for me. And so this is the thing. This is the thing about where we stand as creatives, where we stand as a society. We're so in our own minds trying to figure out God trying to
Right.
figure out obedience, that we don't actually obey, that we don't actually just listen. You know, the
Right.
number one key to my success in the last 4 years especially has been obedience. It's been the courage to action and obedience, and obey what God has put in my heart, regardless of the outcome to me. So I was, and don't think this is easy. It's not. Do you think it's easy to come on here and put yourself out there and share your thoughts and your heart and your revelations, and people can throw mud at you, and you know, and I mean, people, I even get messages that people are offended by the way I do my hair and makeup and the way that I dress up, you know?
Yes.
But this is the thing. When it comes to resurrecting your talents, I know for sure that anyone that is firstly wanting to resurrect a talent, first is hearing that call in their heart. You
Right.
have to do this. You have to do this. And what you're not doing is you're not having the courage to listen to that call. Because if it's there, it's
Yes.
God. So we need courage to action. Action activates. So remember action, right? The
Right.
core word of action is act. And then we expend that out. When we act and we action, it activates. It
Right. There you
activates
go.
the momentum. That's right. And without momentum, there's no multiplication. So we need to, we all want multiplication, but we don't want to work for it. We all want multiplication. We want momentum, but we don't want to action. We want God to bring it to us instead of us actioning the obedience and showing God that we're worthy of our calling.
That's it.
You know?
You know what?
He's not going to just give it to us.
That's right.
You know?
You know what? I'll tell you what. In the middle of every difficulties in life lies good opportunity.
Oh,
Although
yes.
sometimes we tend to go the other way,
Right.
because we don't want to go through the hardships of life. You know, you've been there. You've been a supermodel for that avenue. Talk to us. You know,
I've been a spokesmodel for the battle, for the failure. Thank you, Lord, because you know what? I became the great soldier that I am within myself.
Right.
You know, because of that.
right.
Because without the mess, there's no message. Without the failure, there's no fortitude. You know, and
Right.
without the the battle, there's no breakthrough. So why do we expect God to give us something when we aren't actually, actioning our faith and our obedience to Him? You know, this is where we've gotten it the wrong way around. We're like, God, you just make it work. You just make it happen. No, God's already given you the vision. Act,
Right.
start walking, start doing, start serving.
You know, for some of our viewers that are just joining in tonight, just want to let you know she started singing when she was 3 years old. And her talent and her singing and everything else that comes behind, it was all God's plan for her life. It is
Yes.
so good that to be able to have a celebrity Samoan, successful singer, that she can take Samoa to the next level. But the way you take Samoan and your next talent go right along with love. You talk a lot
It
about
does.
love all the time.
Yeah.
And there's times that I hear you say it about, we still don't know what love is, which is great. That it keeps us
Yeah.
going, hungry for it. What is the definition? Where we be? Share more about what do you think about love is?
Yeah. You know, love, I speak so much on love because I want it so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I focus on the things and I give out the things in the world that I so desperately want to receive myself.
Right.
You know, I think the human condition, we expect perfection. We expect everybody else to act the right way. We expect everybody else to not offend us, but we don't actually do the work to love people and accept people the way that they are, where they are in their life. So love to me is a couple of things. You know, I was really blessed this week to study with my daughters about something in the Jewish faith called bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah. And bar mitzvah is the coming of age at 13 years old for boys, and bat mitzvah is for girls. And for those of you who don't know, I I am half Jewish. My dad is Jewish and my mum's Samoan. And so we love to study both cultures. They're both equally important to me. My Samoan culture, though, because I was raised in it, is kind of up here. I'll always push it first. But one of the great things that I've learned is when I need to understand the level of love that I need to go to, I go to my culture. Look at our Samoan culture. It's the level of love and servanthood. So the meaning of bar mitzvah is a coming of age. You are now accepted as a proactive member of society. That's what love is. Proactive servanthood.
Wow.
Proactive.
Wow.
Proactive.
Yeah.
Not wait for someone to do for you. Not wait for someone to bless you. Proactive blessing. Do you know, I was actually saying to the Lord last night, oh gosh, I'm sick of giving. Can you just get someone to give to me? Like, I'm always giving, because every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, he'll prompt my heart, do this for this person, do that for that person, but that's the life that I wanted with God. I said,
Right.
put whoever you got, put him on my heart. I'm just going to be obedient because I know my blessing is in obedience. And then the Lord stopped me right as I was like walking into the bathroom, and he said to me, yeah, but you can't outgive me.
Yeah. It's wonderful, right? You're spontaneous. You know exactly what you're in this life for, right? There's another thing that I would like to talk to you about tonight. It's amazing that we see a lot of our Samoan singers, they tend to go away from their talent and they start singing against each other. And I don't find that with you. And I don't find it. You're very calm. You are very honest, and you honor God with your talent, because the talent that He gives you to praise Him, and not to tear down other singers or anybody else. I know it's hard for celebrity singers to to encourage others in what they're going through in life, but it's so hard to see other singers are going against each other.
Oh yeah.
It's up to you if you want to touch up on this subject or if you want to skip
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, because sometimes, even when people come after me, other singers, people, the more fame you get, the more celebrity you get, it's not just singers that come after you, it's everybody that comes after you. Everybody who wants to be offended by you will be offended by you. There's nothing, that's what I've learned. If people want to be offended, if they have the intention to be offended, nothing I do will not offend them. Right. So I'm not offended by other people's offense, but sometimes, and this is the hardest part about being a woman of God, is sometimes, there's 300, 400 beautiful comments of encouragement, and then there's just 2 comments that are coming at you, accusing you, hating on you, and I go to those comments and I focus on those 2 comments instead of the 300-400 positive comments. And so I've trained my mind not to do that, to let it go. Because in my mind, when I read them, I write out what I'm going to reply to them in an ugly way, That's when my fleshly nature comes out, and then I delete it. But now I've learned to just focus on the positive. And this is what happens when the ego lives more than the spirit. This is what happens when you think you are more than you are. This is what happens when your confidence is in your own talent and in your own ability. I've actually seen it just this week, some Samoan singers going against each other. Disgusting. Yes. Disgusting. Humble yourself. Humble yourself, because if you don't humble yourself, God will humble you, and it'll be worse than anything that anyone has to say about you.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. And that's why I rein myself in. I try, sometimes I don't, sometimes brother, sometimes, something slips, sort of thing. And I'll say something, to try to defend myself. But the truth is, because my confidence and my identity is in God, I don't need to prove that to anybody. I don't feel the need to explain myself. I don't feel the need. The only need that I feel is to be a proactive member, to encourage my community, to love on my community, to bless and uplift my community. And that comes from a deep relationship, a friendship with God,
You're right. In the way to encourage them, and it's to, how you said it, it doesn't matter how slow you go. It's how you're going to get there.
That's right.
It's how you're gonna get there. It'll define of who you are. It defines the talents. But
That's right.
one another thing, I'm gonna ask you this because I know you've been there before, and you've done so much shows, and the platform is huge than ever. You know, you always says, "I want to be the one that can stir up emotions for someone
Yes.
else."
Yeah.
Because sometimes people tend to live with their emotions inside.
Hmm.
Those feelings and those emotions never got let it out for some reason. But you
Right.
want to be that person. Can you share a little bit? What do you mean about you want to be
Absolutely.
that person?
Absolutely. So, I teach what's called the intelligent performer. And the intelligent performer understands that our brains are the same. Most of our brains are the same. 99.9% of our brains are the same, right? So what that means is that in our brains, at the stem, at the bottom of the brain, at the brain stem is called the limbic system. And the limbic system, it houses and it monitors and it regulates our feelings, our emotions, and our memories, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that means that is the part of the brain that when you hear when you look through old family movies, and it brings back those feelings of when,
Yes.
like, we do that quite a bit when our kids were little, and it brings back those feelings of like, and that's what brings that part of the brain is housed in the limbic system. It also is the part of the brain that when you see that lady at church that's whakakala and you don't like her, you're like this, okase whakakala. It's that part of the brain. So it houses, right? So it houses all of our automatic responses to people and to things, to smells. So I know that I can actually trigger emotions or stir emotions in other people by triggering a memory, a feeling, or an emotion in the limbic system. So the way that I do that is a couple of ways. I do what's called a crying voice, which sounds like you're crying, because that activates desperation in the limbic system. So it makes people feel what you're feeling. And then secondly, I also do what's called the wave, which is crescendo and decrescendo in musical terms, which is to increase the volume, decrease the volume. So for instance, if I sing to you, Sa o moe ile po mafaila umbiti, that has a different reaction in the limbic system to singing it with emotion. So Sa o moe ile po mafaila umbiti fa solo uma fafonga ia so outside. Totally different ways that it's received by the person that's listening. So that's why I really teach on how the performer has the power to make people see, feel, and hear the story that they're singing in whatever way that they want.
It's amazing the way that you keep your talent shining. You always have a good personality and always the courage that it comes right along with. It doesn't matter what happened in the background, but when it comes up to the front, you always make sure that you meet the need of the audience that are waiting for you. They will love to hear the storyteller, the singer teller, everything.
That's
the
right.
songwriter that is going to tell me what is going on, what is the song fits perfect with me. How do you choose your song when you go up to the audience?
I generally tend to feel the audience. I try to see, what I think that they would like. The other thing is that it does depend. If it's, if it's an all Palangi audience, because I do a lot of corporate events as well, then I tend to stick to the divas and sing the Mariah Careys and the Whitneys, because they all sit there going, what? How big is that voice, And then when it's my Samoan community, all I do is sing Samoan songs, because what makes me so happy is when I've got my mum and my uncles, my aunties sitting in the audience, and everybody's singing along, and my family's just sitting there looking around like, oh my gosh, they know the words to her songs. That blesses me. And I don't know if you noticed, brother, but there's so many people that share their covers to my music, and every time I see that, I can't believe anyone listens to my music, because I just sing and record to make me happy.
I'll tell you what. Because when Wolf always had these comments, every quote that comes from this man is always true. And he says, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decided to be. It's you.
100%.
That's 100%. You know, that's
100%.
That's uplifting. You know,
Yeah.
for us Samoan today, and the way that we see it, our lives today in the music. Let's go to the break. When we come back, we're gonna continue on. But hold that thought. You comment on the board, continue on the comments. We're gonna read your comments soon. We'll be right back with Marina Davis. Hour with Marina Davis. Thank you for joining us. Our fans around here in the United States and outside the United States. Marina Davis, this is what the quote from Mother Teresa, I always remember this quote. It says, we can do no great things, but we can do little things with love.
That's so
We
good.
can do little things with love.
That's today.
That's today, right? When you
That's
resurrected
right.
your career, you, Marv and Elle, all three of you guys together, especially you, I want to talk to you about this. How did you find the time that your career was already on the horizon before you even get there? Did you see any vision? How did you able to sort it out?
I didn't see any vision. All I knew was that, I was becoming someone that I didn't like, in while I was in Mavia. When you're young and you're given a whole lot of fame and a whole lot of attention very young, and everybody says yes to you, and everybody tells you you're amazing all the time, except for my mum. My mum always kept it real. Our Samoan mums are gangster. They're like, shh, aloe for fully sort of thing. Like, and everyone's treating us like a superstar, except for our family members, which is great. And it was really getting to my head, and I knew in my core values of who I was as a Samoan, as a woman, as a daughter of God, is that's not who I was. And I was really starting to treat people really badly, and going down a bad path. And so I knew for myself I needed to get out of that situation, and I was so scared, but I knew in my heart God was asking me to do it. Wow. So when I did, everybody assumed I was Latter-day Saints because they thought I went on a mission. I wasn't. I've always been Catholic and AOG. But what I did do was that I took a year off just to find myself, find my identity. Not necessarily as a Samoan, but just as a woman of God. I spent a lot of time in youth groups, at church, really discovering who I was. And then I knew that something was coming because, again, when you have relationship with your friend, they tell you, the gospel before it's coming, sort of thing. And I could feel it in my heart after developing this relationship with God that something good was coming, and it was going to scare me half to death, but I knew just to be obedient. So when it came in, and I was approached a few months later, I got a phone call saying, hey, we'd love for you to record a Samoan album. How do you feel about that? I didn't even know how to speak Samoan properly, so of course I was scared out of my brains. But I did it anyway, knowing that it was a great way to serve. And if at the very least, if I failed, and you've got to remember, like Marvial was very, very successful. It was huge, it was that was the group that I was in before I went solo. For those of you who don't know, it was a 3-girl band in New Zealand. We were massive in New Zealand. And to go from that and then take the risk of singing a completely different language, and writing those different kinds of songs, and putting it out there, it was a huge risk. And I thank God that it was such a success, because it's brought me to where I am today, where I speak Samoan as well as I can. I'm not going to say fluently, but I speak it okay. I get by.
But I'll tell you what, we're familiar with how birds will sing and how they tell their talents, right? And there's a quote in Samoan. How do they say in Samoan? Mai ele te fua usu le pese le manu. Ero se tala. Ai na pese usu. Wow. So when they translate to English, a bird doesn't sing because it has the answer. The bird sings because it has the songs to sing, which is very, very powerful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's how Samoan look up to the celebrities. Their children, whanau, like you. You have the big platform. You perform in so many cultures, and so many people that love your talent. And I'll tell you what, for all this time that we've been talking, we live, and the people are watching, and the people are commenting. It's so profound for me to say this to you. When you're feeling helpless, you always help someone. You always help. And look how many kids you help them now. How many students that you help them. That's God's given talent. That's God-given talent. So how do you define the time now? Now, how many students you have now? Thousands, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how you balance the time from then and now?
I'm really well organized.
Got it. That's the answer I'm looking for.
I think, this is always the kind of business person that I wanted to be. And, you know, nothing's perfect. There is always someone that slips through the cracks, and there's always something that happens that you miss, always. But in the majority, I would say 97% of my business, I've learned to automate,
Right.
you know? So what that means is that when someone signs up, I don't have to sign them up. They click the link and they put their credit card details in, and it just comes out of their accounts every single week. I don't have to do the payments manually myself. Then it comes to the point that after they've signed up, they receive an email. That process is automated. I've got an email system that does that for me. So what I've done is I've gotten smarter with the way that I conduct my business. I've put everything so that a huge chunk of it doesn't need me, that it can automate on its own. It's running automatically, you know, and you're making money in your sleep.
Right.
And that's the way that business is designed to be. I would hate to think that I'm only making money when I turn up, because I really don't work all that much, you know, sort of thing. So in automating my business, I was able to put my focus back where it belongs, which is servanthood, which is the ability to be able to proactively change someone's voice and serve them to get them to their gifting and to get them to their calling in life. So, you know, I very early on in my business saw I don't really want to waste my time with doing my taxes, so I got an accountant, you know, sort of thing. I don't want to waste my time doing this, because I you know, as a servant, you want to put your energy and your effort where it belongs, on the people,
Right.
you know. And and don't get me wrong, I get it wrong all the time. You know, I I have a really good rescheduling program that I do. You know, when people miss their appointments, I don't say, well, you missed it, sorry, you know, too bad, you know. No, you know, great, let's reschedule, because my heart is to serve, it's not to steal. So
Wonderful.
so at the end of the day, and you're never going to make everybody happy, and I'm okay with that.
Yes. That's the women's spirit right there. That's a great spirit. I love it. I know there's a request from Manuia Sola.
Yes.
She said, Marina, since you are here with us tonight and tomorrow is my birthday, would you please sing that song, La Usa More for me, please? I love that
Absolutely, I
song.
can.
And
Absolutely.
her birthday is tomorrow. And she asked
What is her name?
Muli Maruifale. Maluifale. Maruifale Sola. Yeah. Maru
Okay.
Ifale
So,
Sola. Yeah.
sorry, was it Malu?
Yes. Ifale. And the last name is Losola. Sola.
Well, we wish you a very, very happy birthday. Just let me know when you'd like me to sing that for her, bro. I'm happy whenever you'd like.
Yes. So now she asks if you please can sing the La Usamo song for me, please. Oh, that's...
Of course. I haven't sung it in a while, so forgive me if I forget the lyrics, because it's been a while.
Yes. Yeah,
But here
absolutely.
we go.
Yeah.
This one's called La Samoa. Happy birthday, dear. Chico!
Morifale?
Hope you enjoy this,
There we
sis.
Talo Samoa la uatunu upeleleanga. I say yo pese atu mafamatala. Lo matango fiele mafaya upu mafamatala. Uanu merata si foi oe ile pacifica. La Samoa, La Samoa. To Lao Samuel, Lao Samuel, Famua Muele Tua, Oyalo Famael. Amaini Bukuanga, Fama Losi Tumaupea, O Te Alofa Ia Te Oelang Samoa. Lao Samoa, Lao Samoa, Famua Muele Tua, Oyalo Famael. Almighty Buapunga, Fama Losi Tumaupea, O Te Alofa Ia Te Oe Lao Samoa. Almighty Buapunga, Fama Losi Tumaupea, O Te Alofa Ia Te Oe Lao Samoa. Lao Samoa.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Malu Falesola. Happy birthday to you. I think she's 16 today. You know, I think. But I'll tell you what,
Oh,
people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you treat them.
Make them feel. Absolutely. I
You know,
agree.
and how you make them feel. They will not forget that. You know,
Oh,
because I'll tell you what, you know, you represent Samoa in a high level. You know,
Oh,
you
thank
took
you.
Samoa to the next step of life. And there's so many people that their talents have finally start scratching the surface, but sometimes they don't know where to turn or where to go. But if you are listening tonight, you need coaches, somebody that can be able to walk through with you. Marina Davis does also teach talents how to sing and tune your voice and do anything that you need to make sure your voice is right there where you need to be. Sister,
That's right.
talk more about your teaching skills.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, there's nothing that brings deep joy to the soul when you know you're living your purpose, and this is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. I've sung in front of tens of thousands of people. That was nowhere near as fulfilling as serving my students that I have. One of the beautiful things that's been happening lately, and this is a real testament to my students and their teachable spirit as well, because I teach them, I give them the expectation in the beginning, you're not going to get this straight away. It doesn't, you're not going to come to me and I'm going to give you a great voice straight away. It takes time, because the way that the brain remembers and the way that the brain learns is practice and repetition. What you do for work, you're really good at it. My dad, my dad was a machine operator when I was young, and I went to his job one day and he was like doing everything automatically, because the brain gets to be automatic. You can do things really easily when you practice and repeated it several times. So I give you the tools. I liken it to building a house. I give you the tools and the material to be able to build your voice. It is up to you to have the courage to try it. So this is what I mean. This is why I say that courage is the number one factor that we don't even teach our kids anymore. The courage, not just to try, but the courage to fail. And the reason why failure is so important is because failure teaches the brain what not to do. We put this perfectionism expectation on our children and on ourselves, and yet we can never meet it. So I give my students the safety to be able to fail, and the way that their faces change when they get it right. Oh my goodness, that I get a kick. Oh yeah, it is next level for me. This is why I do it, because every day I get to see transformation. Every day I get to see breakthrough, and it's addictive. It's addictive to me.
It's amazing. If we don't have peace, it is because we've forgotten that we all belong to each other.
Yes.
And that's the big part of every talent and every human being, because talent is a part of life. You know,
Yes.
talent is a part of life, but few are chosen in a different way. To me, you know, few are chosen in a different way how God operates in this world. Right?
Yeah.
And then I know some of the our audience, like Virginia Sinatonga DeVoe, she plays for the church. She's still, you know, strumming, you know, but you know what? She still kept her talents. And some of the
Yes.
kids I know, they're still playing. And it is amazing. We see now Samoan tend to go to the different way with their talents, right? If
Yeah.
someone write a Samoan song for you, sis, to
Yes.
sing, what are you going to say?
Oh, if you've got some Samoan songs that you want me to sing, please send it my way. If you've written something, if I listen to it and I feel it, I'll be like, I want to buy it. Let me buy it. You know, because for me, I know that that's not my gifting. You know, I know my gifting is the ability to tell the story, but I don't
Right.
write the story. I'm not a good story writer. I mean, I am, but I'm very strong in it in English. In Samoan, I'm not very strong in telling the story. I know what I want to say, but I
Right.
can't find the words to say it.
Right.
So when
Yeah.
this is why I'm so passionate about working with other Samoan storytellers.
Mm.
But this is the problem. They don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're too scared that I'll say no. But what if I
Right.
say yes? You know, sort of thing. What if someone says yes to your opportunity, but you won't even go for your opportunity because you're too scared of the answer? You know?
Right.
Yes, I understand that if you give someone something and they're like, oh, that's not, I would never do that. I'd be like, hey, that doesn't suit me right now.
Oh.
You know, what else do you have? You know, and this is what I mean about courage. It is the number one thing that's lacking in our human condition. I teach this to my girls all the time. Do it. Just act. Acting equals action equals activation. It activates something in heaven when
Right.
we act on God's plan. So just go for it. Send it to me. I'd love to hear it.
Right. You know, sometimes I read on Anne Frank. She does have some nice quotes in her books, and I love to follow because, you know, she also have the spirit of a woman that pushed forward to see things, you know, her ways differently, right?
Right.
And she always, almost every book that she wrote, she always have that quote: "No one has become poor by giving." She always put that quote.
Right.
No one become poor because he or she continues to give.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. But she always refer how God gave the talents and how God bring the talents to her. You know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
because of our time, we got 7 minutes to go for our time. Sis, it's time to go with some teaching lessons. I think
Let's do it.
You know, let's do it. Let's get ugly tonight. That's what we call it. This is
Yes.
the last minute. We got to get ugly with the songs, right?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Okay, just bear with me a minute. Okay, so let me just find it first. Here we go. Oh, okay. So you know, the ability to get ugly is within all of us. But you know, you will be so surprised how many of my students, my adult students, come to me and say, I used to sing when I was young, but someone told me I sounded really bad,
Oh.
and so I stopped singing. You know, or
Right.
people were putting pressure on me. So, you know, I even had one lady saying that she was singing in the choir and she realized that, you know, for 6 years her mic wasn't even on because no one wanted to hear her sing. Those kinds of stories. But everybody has an innate desire to worship, which is, in our interpretation of worship, it's to sing, right?
Absolutely.
So that's why, you know, whatever you've been, you know, someone's tried to snuff out your talents, I guarantee you that when you come to get to do my lessons, not only will you learn about your voice, but you'll learn about the barriers that you've set up in your mind. So you know, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about storytelling, right? So
Yes.
it's your responsibility to make sure that the person that's listening can actually feel something when you sing, right? So I'm going to show you the wrong way. Okay?
Okay.
So watch my face, my mouth, everything. Listen to my voice, there's no energy. Sa omoe ilepo Mafaila umiti. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no effort, there's no energy. So one thing that I teach my students to do is to bounce the voice. Bounce it away from the body, because when you're singing Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umi, this is safe singing, right?
Right.
That's being safe, because it's not putting your face out there, it's not putting anything out there. You don't want to stand out, right? But the thing is that if you want to sing, or just say, just stand out, okay? So I want you to bounce the voice, and I want you to use your face, because your face is your instrument, okay? So, Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti. Okay, bounce the voice away from the body, all right? And the reason being is because then you're bouncing it away, and you're actually lifting the energy of the song. Okay, so have a listen to how flat. There's no energy when you don't bounce the voice. Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti. Now let's bounce it. Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti. Fa solo uma fa faunga. So when we're bouncing, it helps to push the body away and actually lift the energy of the song. Do you want to try it for me?
Okay, let's try it. Me and Tai,
Okay,
or
bounce
just me?
the voice.
Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti.
Much better, much better. Do it again. And this time, what I want you to
go
do.
higher, right?
Let's go higher. Let's go big or go home.
right.
You know, so let's do it again. And when you do those end notes, make sure you're holding Sa o moe ile. Don't drop back down. So don't relax. So what tends to happen is people go like this. Sa o moe ile po. Don't relax. Sa o moe. Keep the bounce up. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
On
I'ma
the end
try
of the
it.
words. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. Deep breath.
Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti. Right? So that's tenor. So what if I want
I
to go
love
down,
it.
drop it down a little bit? Sa o moe ilepo mafaila umiti.
Ooh,
Right?
you want my job, eh? You so
Okay.
want my job.
Sign
I
me
love
up,
it.
Sign me up a contract. I'm higher, and give me the awards. So that is good. So what's the next one? I think Tai wants to practice too on that one.
The what? The crying voice?
I think Tai wants to practice too on
Oh,
that
yes,
one.
please, Ty. Go for it, Ty.
Yeah, there he comes.
Sorry, Rina, I'm not feeling good tonight.
You know what? Honestly, a performer is always ready. Whether you're sick and you're tired, it doesn't matter. Unless
I'm
you're
pretty sure I
dying,
will do this. I
we
will
don't,
do this
we
next
don't
week.
care.
So push the air out, push the song out clear, huh?
Yeah, so it's just bounce it out, away
Bounce
from the
it out.
body. So you'll notice when you watch this back, brother, I want you to have a listen. Your voice is going Sa o moe. It's relaxing again. So I don't want you to relax. I want you to keep the bounce up. Sa o moe. Moe instead of moe. Don't come back down, because it brings down the energy of the song. Beautiful. See how it opens the voice?
Okay. Now I got
See
it.
how it opens the voice when you keep the bounce up instead of bounce and then back down? So that helps to create what's called an open voice, right? A melodic voice. A melody means the way that you sing the song. So when you're singing in melody, then that means that you're able to sing it the way that it's supposed to be, instead of so flat, and not just flat in notes, but flat in energy. We want energy when we sing, you know?
Right,
So that's
right.
the teaching for today.
Right. That's absolute. That's wonderful. Tai,
Keep
you have
the
any
energy.
add-on?
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Because of now we hit our 1 o'clock mark. I would like
Yeah.
to thank all of our viewers from all over the world, United States, for joining us tonight. And don't forget, next week again, we'll do this again with Marina Davis For then, so long. We love you all. Marina Davis, you rock. Thank you so
Love
much
you
for
guys.
taking us to the next level.
God bless.
We love
Thank
you. God bless. And take care of
Thank
yourself.
you. Thank you, Rina.
You too. Have a great night. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Same you too.
Solo mafafanga iaso autalaiti tale manino ilawa ai ilo tumai lo si ufafanga malu olo tawala amai lofo ita ile motu tufua tanumia ita ile matua oya we lo fatu ape talo ai o ela ubele le mavai ona omoe ile ngase se ovai tafe ae ala mai o tofanga wana o e pele ilo anganga elefangaloina o taimi o eva evanga efa amava taua ina ua tata famaya o ufo ilo ainga ae
Goodbye, my felony, ole a o te Fola ole vasa, neli e pula I melefi Ei halo mai sa mo, si o ta ele E mana tua vai pea, le